Arkansas Arts Academy World Cuisine students, today we're going to be making a buckwheat crepe, galette, or some just call it pancake. Today I want to talk to you a little bit also about buckwheat. So it's a seed, and therefore it doesn't have gluten. So we can use this to replace wheat flour is a great replacement. So in the northeastern region of France, where Brittany is, and that is on the Atlantic coast, the buckwheat grows very well. So despite its name buckwheat, it's not a wheat, it's a seed. We're going to use the groat and it's ground so that we can get buckwheat flour, and that's what we're going to be using in our crepe today. Let's talk about mise en place. So before we even get started mixing, we need to make sure that we have all of our utensils and our ingredients ready to prepare our buckwheat batter, crepe batter. So you can see that I have my egg, nutmeg, salt, buckwheat. I also have a scale, so please try to use a kitchen scale. You can use a conversion app online if you don't have a scale. I need to convert it to cups. And then I also have my water here. This is my little garbage bowl. I like to keep a little garbage bowl for eggshells. Also, you have your microplane and a whisk. That is everything you're going to need to get started on this batter. Make sure that you take the time to do your mise en place properly. Also, look over your directions on your recipes. So this recipe, actually, after we make it, we need to put it into the refrigerator for a couple hours and let it rest. That allows the liquid to absorb into the buckwheat and mix for a better crepe. Let's get started on assembling our crepe batter. So first we're going to put a pinch of salt and just a little nutmeg, fresh nutmeg. And whisk that around to incorporate that salt and nutmeg evenly throughout the buckwheat flour. Next, we're going to add our egg right into the middle. And with eggs, it's best just to do one crack of the egg and open if you can. The more that we tap, 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 we splinter the shell, and there's a better chance of getting little shards of eggshell into your batter. So go ahead and break the yolk. Give that a little stir. And now we're going to start adding this water very slowly, a little bit at a time. Once that starts to get incorporated, we're going to add a little more. And this recipe will be provided for you on Google Classroom. We're going to be learning a lot about France and the history of restaurants, some important names, Scoffier, and your slide presentation that I'll provide for you. So you'll be learning a lot for your quiz. I do want you to take notes while watching the video, and also take notes while watching the quiz, or viewing the slides, so that you do really well in your quiz. Hopefully you can see that consistency. It's looking very nice. Again, take it slow. A lot of cooking is methods. So sometimes we think, oh, right, I'm just going to add this all at once and get this done really quickly. But it's important to follow the directions and incorporate ingredients slowly so that they have time to blend together. Almost there. This batter is actually going to go into the refrigerator and rest for 2 hours before we even use it. So don't skip that step. What that does is it allows the buckwheat to absorb the flour and egg, and we will have a beautiful crepe. On to creating our crepe creation. So I have my mise en place for actually assembling the crepe, including a plate that I'm going to put the crepe on once I'm done cooking it. So I have some ham, a little extra water to thin out the batter if needed, salt, cheddar cheese, an egg. I want you to look at this beautiful egg. So the outside, this is a heritage, carton of heritage eggs that I got from the grocery store, and the color on the outside is determined by the breed of the chicken, and then on the inside, the color on the inside is determined by what the chicken is actually eating. Of course, we have some of our fresh nutmeg and butter. I also have some chives here. So a friend of mine gave me chives from her neighbor's garden. I have a whole bunch of them. I'm actually going to be preserving by making a compound butter later. Some of those beautiful chives go to waste. So go ahead when you cut, make sure that you have your cutting board secure. A lot of times I like to put a towel underneath that so it doesn't move. My cutting board at home actually has these little non-skid pads on the bottom already. So I want to make sure, let me just make sure you get a good view here. The mise en place, my knife is facing out, the blade is facing out. Then I'm going to roll my fingers back and gently just glide that knife through the chives. And I actually move my hand back as I cut, using my knuckles as a guide so that I do not cut myself. And when cutting chives, it's very important to have a nice sharp knife so that you don't bruise the blades. I want them to be nice and even cuts as well. And I think that'll do it for our crepe. I'm going to put our burner on medium heat. Controlling the heat in making a crepe is very crucial to the outcome of the exterior of the crepe. So now we're going to add the butter. We really just want that butter to add flavor. This is a non-stick pan, although even with non-stick I kind of like to spray it down full of vegetable oil. But this butter will provide flavor as well as helping it not stick. We have a really nice consistency here. You can see that's our buckwheat crepe batter. It's beautiful. It's been roasted for 2 hours. I did not have to add any additional water to that. And we just want to make sure that pan is at the right temperature. So what we're going to do is pour the batter in and let the crepe set. And then we'll turn the temperature down to finish the crepe process. So this is a ham and cheese breakfast crepe. All right, that's looking good. Let's go ahead and put our crepe batter in. And then I like to swirl that around. So we want this to be a very thin little pancake. Nice and crunchy exterior. That looks good. And now you can start to see the edges of the crepe are drying out. So at this point, we're going to turn the temperature down to low. Very good, and that crepe is setting nicely. Now for our egg. Go ahead and take your egg. Again, one nice crack to prevent splintering, and that's going to go right in the middle of the crepe. Look at that beautiful orange yolk. Okay, we can see that the whites of the eggs have started to become okay. And now it's time to add our ham. Now, and Brittany France, they would actually add whole pieces of ham. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do a little diced ham around here. You could absolutely keep the slices whole and be in lines with more of a traditional crepe from that region. Then we're going to add cheese. Our recipe calls for cheddar. Of course, you can use any type of melty cheese you'd like. Swiss, Gouda, maybe even a Havarti. Just a little touch of nutmeg. We already have some in the batter. Beautiful chives from my friend's neighbor's garden. Go ahead and put a little salt on the yolk. Now we're going to start folding the crepe in. It is a tricky process. So start away from you and just gently pull that side in. And hold for just a second. Pulling that other side in. Holding. If it's easier for you to move your pan around, easy for me to work away. And the trickiest one, the last one. And just hold it in place. Now I have my mise en place all set, so I have my plate ready. I'm just going to slide that crepe onto my plate very gently. And we'll garnish in just a second and give it a try. Now it's time to enjoy this delicious crepe. Let's see if we got it just right. Just going to take a little bit of that crepe and ham and cheese and chives. Dip it into our yolk. Oh yeah, that's a nice runny yolk.